Five, four, three, two, one. Hey, gang, welcome back to Alien Protocols. This is our very first interview, and we're so delighted and honored and feel really privileged to have Mike MURBURG here from Tampa, Florida. Mike is a really incredible guy, first and foremost, but he's also a disability attorney and the leader of an incredible CE5 group. And we started communicating about 2 weeks ago, or maybe 4 weeks ago, and we decided to connect for some CE5, and we had some amazing experiences, and we wanted to have a little discussion about it and about CE5 for a little bit. Mike, welcome, and thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it, brother.
Hi, buddy. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, bro. So this whole CE5 thing has been going on with you for years, like us, and you've been having a lot of success lately. And in general, you've been having a lot of success. Would you just talk to us a little bit about CE5 and your experiences and how you got started?
Yeah, CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, human-initiated contact. I've been an experiencer for probably 60 of my 63 years on this planet, but it really didn't come into focus as a CE5 until October of 2015. I had been on the show The Biggest Loser and lost a whole bunch of weight. I was home, and part of that trip was finding some cures for my own internal maladies, and I stumbled across the Tao Te Ching and started studying it in the works of Lao Tzu, and started writing on those works. And while I was home after the show was over, I had sustained an injury to the knee and foot and whipped up a very serious bacterial infection. So I started meditating heavily and reading and writing on Lao Tzu. And lo and behold, on October 3rd, 2015, I had an orb appear outside of my balcony. It was a very large orb, and it's one that I had seen before in 1979 with probably 50 or 60 other people while I was driving through the Berkshires one night. So I recognized it for what it was. The orb and I had a very nice time together. It was a missing time experience, yeah. And I got the download, and
Wow.
the download was deep, and it I can go into it an hour later, but it would probably take up the entire time of this audio and video. But that's where I became involved with CE5. I had called that morning when I had gotten the download. I didn't know how to deal with it. So, the Tao provides the infinite intelligence that orchestrates this all. Brought me into immediate contact with a schoolmate of mine from Princeton, Susan Patton, and she was a social commentator on Fox News. So I gave her a call, and then she ends up saying, "Well, hey, do you graduate with us?" So she gave me Hollis's number, and the next thing I knew, I was on the phone with Hollis and her husband Costa, and telling them about my lifetime of experiences. And they said, basically, you got to get out here, and we got to get you trained. And I started doing CE5s shortly thereafter, after I'd gotten some training in it. And in February of 2017, I started my own CE5 group, and we do our contact work out in Darby, Florida, where I have a very, very small ranch in my studio. So and we've been doing it ever since, and we've been developing a very heartfelt protocol with some very, very spiritually motivated, wonderful, wonderful people. One thing CE5 does is it brings you in contact with the most wonderful, awesome people, and I don't use that word very frequently. And buddy, you're one of them. I mean, without going into the many monthly and bi-monthly CE5s we've had out at the ranch, and the CE5s I've done with Hollis and Costa in California, I'll kind of skip over all that. but there's been very meaningful contacts. Besides the download, I had a physical contact with another CE5er of mine in February of 2017, which was very profound. And then we had another profound CE5 last month in June after I had contacted you and we talked, and then we hooked up. You joined with a remote viewing, and that and that was just incredible. I mean, what you had predicted came true, and what you had drawn was later reflected in the notes and in the drawings of my own group, reflecting, and the timing was amazing. So I don't know what I've done with my notes in that regard. I did, I thought I had them around here, but there's files and files all over. So
you sent me a lot of copies and pictures and stuff, and I'm holding up the from when our group was meditating before you had your sighting. This is the
right.
drawing that we had of the sighting that you were going to have at 10:15 and afterwards, and this prediction came true, and it was an amazing bonding experience between the two groups, and more validation about the power of consciousness, and how an enlightened consciousness and a connection between people transcends space, time, it transcends our planet, and it transcends our species. And when you think in positivity and in love, no matter how corny it sounds to people, there are study after study that shows the undeniable powers, from remote viewing to healing to CE5 contact. And, for me, CE5 contact is a real honor and a privilege as a leader of a group. And I also have a small farm. We have a lot of similarities. You're a comedian too. Have a comedy background. I've got a comedy background. We both have a farm. We both run CE5 groups, and it's like herding cats. And some weeks, it can take one funny person can blow the whole mojo of the whole event. And but we're really part of a vanguard of the people at the tip of the spear making contact. We're really got a lot of responsibility because we're ambassadors for humanity with these other advanced intelligences, and they're coming from a distance. We're teaching other groups. People are asking us every week, our group, for CE5 instructions, and you're teaching newbies every time. We're teaching people these protocols, and more than just the instructional how to make contact, it's a little bit of spiritual guidance too, a little bit of just directioning, and it makes all the difference. And we're making a difference bit by bit, so it's really incredible, I think.
What I like to do is, my group started as 2 in February of 2017, and we're officially over 54 now, and we're probably closer to 70. And it's I regularly have 17, 18, 19, as many as 24 up at the ranch doing it. And I have to say, the last 2 months, which includes your involvement, we're getting 20, 25 sightings a night now. I mean, it literally is astounding to see the results grow the same way that our CE5 group has grown. And you're absolutely right about the spirituality part of that. I mean, my CE3 experience, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that occurred in October of 2015, was a spiritually based encounter. And do you remember the show, The Highlander?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so every time the Highlander comes in contact with one of his species, and he's got to kill them, and he assumes or inhales or gains the spiritual strength of the person that he's smoked. CE5 is like that in a way, because every time you make contact, your spiritual elevation, it doesn't involve killing anybody or anything, but your spiritual elevation, every time you have a sighting, every time, especially with the beings and the entities that I've had contact with, your heart jumps. And then after the night is over, you find, or everybody in the group finds, this incredible peace and satisfaction, and it grows and grows and grows every time that you have a bona fide and viable spiritual experience and sighting with these entities. And it's really extraordinary, and that's what keeps people coming back. the mutual love and sharing that goes on in the group. I mean, it really requires you, if you do the protocols correctly, to go deep inside of you and find your spot of love. And for me, it's the love I had for my son while he was alive and after his death, and for my daughter and for my grandchild now too. So I go down deep there, and that's the love you have to find your love center. And then when you do, that's the kind of love that you can share, and that's what the ETs, non-human intelligent beings, the NHIBs, look to share. That's your good stuff. And one of the things that we're fortunate to have as human beings is we have a very wide panoply, a wide array of emotional experiences, and our ability to exude emotion, show emotion, and experience it is something that I have been led to understand that the ET NHIBs out there don't have, and that's why we're such amazing creatures to them. And that could be one of the reasons that we've been cultivated as a race in humanity, so that we can bring that kind of experience and sharing of love back into the universe again, and reflect the kind of love that came from our initial creator and the infinite intelligence that guides us all.
You know, whenever you speak, Mike, I just feel like it totally resonates. Like it's like talking to someone of the same exact thoughts. And, you know, I think I find so many of the CE5 leaders are all of this same kind of real logical love, is what I kind of think of it as. It's a real logical, practical love. And you know, one thing I keep thinking about is so much of this, it seems like we're guided. We're taken through the process. You know, they don't jump right in front of your face and are like, hey, you know, and scare the crap out of you. It's a storytelling that they kind of unfold. They know us, they care. There's a sensitivity about our sensitivities. If someone's in the group is too scared or too frightened, they're sensitive about that. And it is about sensitivity and empathy. And, you know, even a short video like this is going to make an impact to people. People are going to see this and they're going to say, wow, are these people really making contact? And do I want to try to do that? And the answer to that is yes. If you have an open, loving heart, you should cultivate your heart first before trying to make contact. I think it's an inward process first before you go outward, because you're going to have more success outward. And inward, not in a selfish way, but in a selfless way. You know, it's easy to go inward with some misinterpretations of Buddhist philosophy and get very selfish and like cut off the material world and not care about your brother and sister or the animal or the environment around you. There has to be this universal compassion. That's the enlightened, larger compassion.
Right. And you know, for those of who might be listening, you know, some of the gateway philosophers or teachers were Alan Watts, Eckhart Tolle. I mean, you don't have to, you know, immolate yourself with Buddhist philosophy or the Tao immediately. There are Western people that can get you into this Zen state that is very easy to get to once you know what you're doing, once you know how to release ego and start concentrating on your soul. It becomes really, really easy. So you're absolutely right.
There's this great quote about if you can make yourself still like the surface of a lake, you can reflect the universe. And
right.
That's just part of it. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time, Mike, and I would like to, you know, have you on more in the future. Would like to hear about your experience, and I'll share mine as well at the time. And just can't say how much I appreciate your time and getting to know you as a human and a friend in your group and our group. And if there's any other groups watching and want to connect with us and participate, you can. And I'll put Mike's information below for anyone who wants to reach out as well, who will live down there.
Yeah, if you do that, and anybody who needs a beginner's protocol, I know you've got an advanced one, but I've kind of put together a beginner's one for those who, you know, really don't know what they're getting into. And if they would like to get one, they can contact me through my website, MMURBURG at disabilityattorney.net. That's MMURBURG at disabilityattorney.net, and I'll be happy to send you the protocol that I've used as my beginner's protocol for people that are just starting to do this kind of thing, free of charge. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me there, email. I'm happy to counsel anybody that's a member of this community. It's one of the reasons I got into this, because once I you know, after October 2015, I realized there was nobody helping people through their contact, whether they were CE3 and CE5. And that also brought me into contact with other groups like Ray Hernandez's group at FREE and their study. So we're all working together on this. There is no difference. It's all one thing, and we're all trying to elevate spiritually to the next level, so we don't have to go through this again. So it's all possible. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, brother. And I think it's a great note to end on, the community and the unity of it all. Thank you so much, Mike, and God bless you, brother, and love to have you again in the future. Come on.
Peace and love.
Peace.
Thanks for having me on.
Take care. God bless.